Hey guys, Felix SF10 asks, if you start off great and you can tell that the girl's into you and then you start fucking up, what's the best way to get back into God mode quickly and how would you do it? If you notice yourself fucking up in the middle of an interaction, the best way to snap yourself out of it is to start entertaining yourself. You do this because you're no longer focusing on your fuck ups and you're not being so critical of yourself. Instead, you're focusing on entertaining yourself. And once you do that, you start projecting a fun vibe, and a fun vibe is what attracts girls. So next time you're fucking up, just entertain yourself. Sweaty Ball Flesh asks, yeah, he kissed her, then she ended up leaving and he will never see her again. And at the end of the day, he will have his dick in his hands. It was all fluff, so what's the point? He's obviously referring to the boot camp video with Edward, where Edward was talking to a girl, and it was apparently all fluff talk, and he went home with his dick in his hands. Well, Sweaty Ball Flesh, here's the point. When you're picking up girls and you're meeting women, you're gonna have to do a lot of things that will not immediately get you the girl. But you do them to hone your skills, you do them to get better. And when you look at things in the short run, it's a lot harder to see what value they have. But when you step back and look at things in the bigger picture, you can clearly see how doing those little things led to your girlfriend, led to you getting laid, led to whatever it is your goals are. And a lot of things that you do when you're picking up girls is for reference experience purely. I will talk to a girl that I'm not that attracted to just to keep my skills sharp. And then eventually, after you start doing more and more of these little things, things start to click in your mind. And when things start to click, you start seeing amazing results. So you need to not focus on the small picture and instead focus on the big picture. I think your mindset's also a little bit negative, so you're going to want to take care of that too. Nobody wants to fuck someone who's completely negative all the time. Omar81483 asks, Jesse, I noticed you ran out of things to say. What are some things you can talk about or do so you never run out of things to say in an interaction so you don't come off as a pussy or wimp? So firstly, you need to change your mindset. Running out of things to say is not as horrible of a thing as you're painting it out to be. All three of us constantly run out of things to say, and it's not a big deal. Once you change that mindset that running out of things to say is not a bad thing, you'll be completely fine. I'm so comfortable with running out of things to say that it's no big deal. Because I'm comfortable with it, she is too. With that said, if I'm really struggling with a girl and topics of conversation are just not coming up, it's usually because the girl is really boring or we just don't connect. Our personalities don't click. If that happens, then I'll just start, like I said earlier, entertaining myself. I will troll the girl, I'll tease her, make fun of her playfully, not in a negative way. So what I'm basically doing is I'm using this girl whose interaction is not going that well as a means to get into God mode myself. And once I start to entertain myself and troll her a little bit, I do get into God mode very quickly, and I'll use that to the next girl who is down to talk to me. Stiz asks, so what do you do if a girl is looking at your lips? Okay, so if a girl is constantly looking at your lips, that means she wants to kiss you. I'm not one for really looking out and overanalyzing these little signals that girls give, because a lot of the times you can't rely on them because they're not that accurate. But when a girl is looking at your lips, it does mean she wants to kiss you. And I'm saying this with so much confidence because that is the one thing throughout my years and years of meeting women that's constantly been true. I can't even think of one time where a girl was looking at my lips a few times and I went in for the kiss and she rejected me. It's pretty much a green light to go in for the kiss. Jose asks, when she asked about the American Girls thing, was it an unconscious shit test? And from then on, it seemed to me that he did not only begin to uptalk, but she began to downtalk. Yes, Jose, she was giving him a shit test, and that's amazing that you caught the fact that she started to downtalk. I think I even missed that. And the reason she did this is because right when she noticed that he was not as confident as she initially thought, she started to lose interest. And when someone loses interest, especially a girl, she will talk to you in a more condescending manner, which is essentially downtalking. Again, it's really good that you noticed that. Once you start noticing things like that, that means that you're way less likely to make that mistake in the future because you're consciously aware of it. So, good job. BSCH, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Hey Jesse, as many other followers here, I have one question about college gaming. I'm in some different learn groups which member size is from 6 to 100. I often see girls I would really like to approach, but I do not do it because of the rejection. I'm scared of getting a needy reputation so that everyone makes jokes about, the guy is so horny, he approaches millions of girls without success. I would not like to hear or give a shit about it because I want to find friends in this group and I do not want to destroy the chance to meet new women in the future. Please help. Thanks. Guys on Project Go constantly ask us this question, even though we've given an answer for it. So this time I'm going to give you a little bit of a different perspective. Basically what you're asking is, you're afraid of your reputation being ruined, so how do you pick up girls if you have a reputation to uphold and then you want to make friends? You don't want to scare away all your friends, right? So here's the thing. There are so many girls out there. You're not restricted to your friends' friends. You're not restricted to your social circle. You're not restricted to even your campus. So why don't you go to a place where these consequences are not real? You can approach girls in a mall, bookstore, coffee shop, a different campus than your own, and there will not be that negative consequence because this is not your social circle. So just find a place where the consequences don't matter and meet girls there. That's what I do. Ja asks, should we use uptalk for when we're actually asking questions? I've been forcing myself to use downtalk. Half the time, I use it even when asking a question. It feels so unnatural. Should I allow myself to uptalk for questions so I don't sound monotone? Never uptalk. Never, ever, ever uptalk. I cannot stress that enough. When you uptalk, you're basically telling the girl in an unconscious way that you're seeking her validation. Uptalking is a trait that weak people have. When you uptalk, people will walk all over you. Don't do it. Uptalk is the devil. You were saying when you're asking questions, it sounds so unnatural to not use uptalk. Let's think of a simple question. Do you want to go to the beach? Now, I'm going to give it to you in two variations. One uptalk and one downtalk. Let's start with uptalk. Hey, do you want to go to the beach? That's uptalk. Now, I'm going to show you what it sounds like to ask that exact question in downtalk. Hey, do you want to go to the beach? Do you notice the difference? I would be a lot more enthusiastic about the suggestion from the second version of the question than the first one because the uptalk version just sounds needy. And I don't want to hang out with someone that's needy. And girls don't want to fuck you if you're needy. And it might feel unnatural at first. It did for me. Once you start talking in a downtalk fashion, it's going to be weird at first. So trust me, just stick with it and eventually it will become a part of your personality. Way Too Hungry asks, hey Jesse, is it better to approach girls and build connection with or without a wingman? Sometimes I find the wingman can also be her distraction too. I find my wingman taking a lot of attention by being a smartass, insultive jokes and such. Or is it just because I'm not wrapping her in my bubble? All right, Way Too Hungry, listen. I have dealt with so many bad wingmen. And this is just a thing where it comes down to, it's just a nature of human beings. They're selfish people. When they see you doing well with a girl, they think to themselves, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. Why don't I go in and swoop her away? And a bad wingman is worse than no wingman. And that's why most of the time I go out by myself. I really, really hate relying on people. So I do things myself. When I go out and approach women, most of the time I do it by myself. If your wingman is truly insulting and being a smartass, then just drop him. You don't need him. Meeting girls doesn't require other dudes. You can do it on your own. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Now, I couldn't get to all the questions, and we usually can't. So what we're going to start doing is answering your questions in the comments that we don't get to. So be sure to leave any questions you have. Take advantage of this. All right, guys, I'll see you next week.